It's time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. I do apologize for not having an episode out last week. I was extremely busy working on my Charge to Keep podcast, the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep Football. Unfortunately, my alma mater lost in the first round of the playoffs in a heartbreaker, 28-27. Many of you who listen to this podcast, I'm sure are well aware of that. But anyway, my full attention now is invested in the Get Home Safe podcast. For now, I will be running some Charge to Keep stuff throughout the year, maybe once a month or something, having something out there about my my alma mater, Rio Hondo Prep athletics and such. But here we are. This is the first episode in 3 weeks, really, where it's just me. I didn't have one last week, and then the week before, I had a special guest in town, my buddy Jesse Segura, one of our first guests in a long time. Got to chat with him just about life and his travels and our experiences together, and Halloween a little bit. So that was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys have got a chance to listen to that. And, you know, sometimes I know so many of my guests or I should say audience is Rio Hondo and Care Youth League people, but it's fun to have other people on here that, you know, kind of give you a little glimpse into my life a little bit and maybe open me up a little bit in other areas of my life. So great conversation with Jesse Segura. I am going to bring back the whole guest portion of the podcast. I'm going to do my best to balance all that. I can't do it, you know, weekly like I used to do. I'm getting more and more busy at FedEx too. I'm not giving excuses, but some great news at FedEx too that I will share with you guys, I'm sure, when everything goes official. But things are going well for the most part, except the football teams in my life. My LA Rams are 3-5. They're awful. They're looking like they're going to miss the playoffs. And my Rio Hondo Prep cares. I love you. What a season it was. It was a privilege running the Charge to Keep podcasts and, you know, weekly with them and just recapping and previewing games. So a tough time of year as Halloween ends. The weather gets colder, right? Fall is here officially. Well, we're going into the winter. It's now getting darker with daylight savings. Have I said Merry Christmas to everyone out there yet? Because as soon as Halloween ends, my opinion is Christmas season. Thanksgiving is kind of that, you know, in November, you get the pre-show, right? Of the prelims, maybe, of like, if we're going from a fighting analogy there, all the month of November where Christmas is in the air, but you're still not quite ready. And then Thanksgiving hits and boom. All right, we're on to the main card of Christmas and the season. And to me, I know it's a separate holiday. This is just my opinion. Maybe it's the right opinion. Christmas is a part of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a part of the Christmas season. It kicks off really the unofficial start of Christmas, right? Black Friday, all that stuff. And think about it. You bring family together, you have a lot of food, and then a month later, you do pretty much the same thing, but you're throwing presents. So to me, they've always been the same. Valerie disagrees. She wants it to be fall and the Thanksgiving season. I'm kind of like, to me, November really is a big part of the Christmas season. Coast 103.5 starts playing Christmas music, which I love. And it's a great time of year. One of my favorite times of the year, really is. It starts to cool down. And, you know, with football, your team either starts to take an identity, or in the high school sense, you know, your team is playing for it all, or maybe their season is over. And that's something I want to mention right off the bat here, that with football, I mean, high school football, I really rediscovered this love the past year. And, you know, I know my alma mater is important to me and following them, but there is something special truly about high school football. You may play basketball a little bit after high school, pickup games. You might play in a softball league or adult league baseball or whatever, volleyball, but you're never going to play football again after high school for the most of us, for the most part, I should say. And that's what makes high school football truly pure. It's something that's unique to America, really. And it's just something that, of all the sports I like NFL, I like boxing, UFC, NHL. I don't know, man. High school football it just works for me. There's not millions of dollars out there with guys, you know, their contracts and guys making money and going off to, you know, different colleges and transfers and this and that. There's something pure about high school football, and it's relatable to a guy like me who played it at a very small level. And I think America would be in a better place if more and more young men played high school football, got to be on that team, experienced that, the bus rides, the tough practices, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. I mean, that is something that I think we all need to go through, the physicality of the great game of football, even though they're trying to take that out of it as well. So I don't know. I was watching Hard Knocks recently, the in season with the Arizona Cardinals, which usually Hard Knocks is a preseason thing, right? Training camp. Well, something they started last year. They're starting about week 8. They dive into a team in the middle of their season. Same thing, cameras behind the scenes and everything. And so I was watching the Arizona Cardinals, and a few observations, man, was there's some real pros on that team. I'm still not a Kyler Murray guy. He doesn't appear to be a leader. I mean, he's happy he got his money, and now he thinks he can just run around. I don't know. I've talked about Kyler Murray before, the punt returner that plays quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And I just got me think. I'm looking at these guys who make millions of dollars, and I love the NFL. I love capitalism, guys making as much as they can and whatever they're doing. But there's something pure about high school football, and that's why I continue to love it. I don't understand why it's kind of been watered down at various levels, like division kids transferring every other place. And, in the Division I here in California, Southern California, we know who the two best teams are going to be, and they're going to play each other. Bosco and Mater Dei, right? Or maybe Corona Centennial, throw them in there. So I don't know. It used to be a community thing. Like you played for your local school. And I know Rio has kids from all over, a little different field, but it's still a sense of community. And that's something that I think is missing. Guys are always chasing something bigger, chasing a bigger bag. And it's just like, enjoy what's in front of you, embrace what's in front, what you have. It's kind of similar to this chase in life where we get so caught up sometimes in, well, what's next? What else can I do? I got it. And those are important things. I think ambition is a good thing, but I think sometimes we forget to just, hey, look around and just appreciate what you have. Right. There's plenty of reasons to complain. I mean, the election was Tuesday. I got plenty of things to complain about still, but I do think that we miss, that Ferris Bueller's quote in the movie. If you don't stop to look around, you might miss it. You might miss life. Life moves pretty fast, I should say. I flip it all around, however it's supposed to go. And so there's so many little things I enjoy in my life. One of them being high school football. I'm just like, man, the season flew by. Now all I got is NFL stuff. USC looks pretty good. Who knows what the college football playoff's going to be? But all that is it's watered down now. It's just like, oh, this guy's making $40 million a year. Is he really trying that hard? These are just things I'm thinking out loud right now. I know that in fighting, it's one big reason I love boxing and MMA is that there's no dancing around that. It's two guys in a ring, an octagon, and it's on. It's no like, well, he didn't try very hard there. You do that, you might end your life literally. So anyway, let me go into some other things now. The big election on Tuesday, the midterms, that was supposed to be a huge red wave and everything, a repudiation of the policies the past couple of years, was not in fact that. Many people enjoy their high gas prices and all the COVID restrictions that happened to them, the lockdowns, their businesses being ruined. There was no pushback from all that, because when it comes down to it, there's like one or two issues that people are very, very passionate about, and to each our own, I guess. But like some people don't care about how their lives were ruined or the quality of life or any of that stuff. They just care about issue A, issue B, whatever it is. And there's maybe an issue or two for me in my life that I would probably vote accordingly with that. But I think overall, I mean, it was a frustrating night. Here's the most frustrating part. Look at, I know the term denier gets thrown around. That's the new fancy word of the left, especially. You're an election denier. You're a climate denier. You're a COVID denier. Deny. Okay. So I want to focus on one thing right now. I'm going to try to go a little slow. The whole election denier thing. It's funny how some people are allowed to deny the results of elections and some people aren't. And when it comes down to it, you need proof. You got to prove something happened, something didn't, whatever. Okay. And so it just ends up being nothing. So I'm not here to deny any election or whatever. I want to point out something. There's 50 states in the I don't even know if I can call them the United States anymore. There's 50 states in the states of America. And most of those states, I don't know how they do it. I mean, it is the year 2022. They're able to record their vote tallies in a pretty timely manner. Let's go back in time to the year 2000 and the state of Florida and the hanging chads and the disaster that state was back in 2000 for the Bush Gore election. An absolute embarrassment for the state of Florida. Since that time, though, they have righted their wrongs, and they are able, I don't know how they do this, they're able to collect all their votes, and as soon as the polls close, within a few hours, they're able to project or put out their count, their totals. I don't know how they do that. There's other states that are able to do this. And I don't, for the life of me, understand why the states of Arizona and Nevada, why it is taking multiple days for them to tally their votes. Well, there's mail-in ballots. Okay, well, maybe if you're going to do mail-in ballots, maybe those should be in earlier. I think it's good for, I agree with that there should be options for people to vote. I don't want to restrict anybody's right to vote, the threat to democracy, right? I just want people to show up, vote in person, preferably, and have an ID to prove who they are. I don't think that's asking a lot, but that'll never happen. We used to have absentee votes, absentee ballots. That was a thing for people that, can't make it home from being out at sea or whatever the case is. But now it's like, no, I just want to be lazy, fill it out. And, just like Postmates and Uber, and I want to do everything and not have to go be out in public. Maybe you should order some Postmates, have it delivered, get in your Uber, go out there, stand in line. I know it's very dangerous out there, standing in lines to vote. But if you want to mail your ballot in, go right ahead. I'm not mailing in a ballot. I'm voting, preferably election day. If you want to have it a couple of days, okay, I would be open to that. I'm not just this, no, hardcore, you have to do it this day. But why is it taking so long to count votes, Arizona and Nevada? Why are you both of you are an embarrassment right now? And to the crazy election conspiracy theory people, this is not helping the cause, right? If the longer it takes to count votes, all I'm saying is it raises suspicion. I'm not accusing anyone of foul play. I'm not doing that. I don't want to go there. I won't go there. All I'm saying is when 48, I don't know if it's even 48. I'm sure most of the stuff happens on the west coast, excuse me, where vote tallies just, well, it takes time. You need to tabulate. You got to be thorough. We got to, what was my favorite one I heard? Our exhausted polling place people need time to rest, to recover from. The country wants to know what happened in the election. This happened in 2020, and I know it was the most secure election ever. Can we have a second most secure election ever in 2022? And you guys know where I stand, where I'm hoping the results come and everything, but it's not even that. I want elections to be safe, secure, and efficient. This should be something that we all are behind. But for some reason, we get all worked up. You need an ID? That's racist. How could you require someone to have an ID to vote when they don't need an ID to get on a plane or buy alcohol or to rent a home or to get a job? Or they don't need IDs for those things. Actually, you do, most cases. But racist, I know. So, okay, we're not going to go that far. Fine. Can we get the results of the election on election day? I understand. Maybe it might take some time, 2, 3 in the morning the next day. But can we find a way to count it all up, continue the counting, whatever it costs? I think, and even in the Civil War in 1860s, it only took a couple of days when they had everything by candlelight and by looking at hand. Like in the 60s, we didn't have all these computers and like. What is taking so long, Arizona, Nevada? You understand that this raises suspicion. This creates problems because people are wondering, well, we're able to see the vote totals in like New Hampshire in real time. Why are we not seeing that now? I'm not accusing anyone of fraud. I want to make that totally clear. Shut up, dogs. Jeez. People walking by. Oh, I'm going to talk about the same people counting votes are probably people who don't take care of their dogs, don't train animals to be around other people. So that's my thing. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. There's some conspiracies like the JFK assassination that I've gone back and forth on, and I'm just obsessed over. But I mean, elections, I don't want any issues. I don't want there to be games. I'm not saying there are, but it's a bad look. You have to admit that, especially when Katie Hobbs, the secretary, not treasurer, secretary, messed up the title, something in Arizona. Basically, her office is overseeing this election, and there were some issues with voting machines in hello county in the Phoenix area. Like, okay, I am not that. Hey, that's probably honest mistake. Honest, hey, machines mess up. That's the problem with machines. And if you're gonna say, well, then we'll do it by hand and we'll count slowly. Well, that's fine. But the issue is, other states are able to get their stuff in. Why aren't you? This happened in 2020. We're waiting for days for the election. And then everyone's, oh, they're denied this, they denied that because this was completely on board. I'm not accusing. I can't say that enough. I'm not calling an election unfair. I'm not being a denier. I'm simply saying that the longer something is drawn out, the more suspicion is raised. Wait a minute. Why is it taking long to count votes when other states are able to do it quicker? Even California, excuse me. I mean, I know Newsom was going to win in a landslide here, but and mail-in ballots are a real thing here and are here to stay in California because we do everything that is correct. You know, he was declared a winner, projected. I don't know what this Lauren Boebert thing is happening in Colorado. She's a congresswoman from Colorado and quite fiery one indeed. And she was declared to have lost, and now all of a sudden they're saying she has a lead. So this is the issue. And didn't Pennsylvania elected, I think someone in Pennsylvania got a dead guy, a guy who died a couple years ago. No, I'm not talking about John Fetterman, even though that was a disaster. That guy, I mean, Godspeed in his recovery from his stroke and everything, but he can't put a sentence together. He was elected. He wears a sweatshirt to be a man of the people, hooded sweatshirt. Look at, I believe, Pennsylvania literally elected a guy who died about a month ago. Now you're going to make me look it up because I want to be accurate here on the Get Home Safe podcast. Pennsylvania elects dead guy. Maybe it's fake news. I don't know. Pennsylvania. Okay, this is from The Guardian. What would be an impartial site here? Business Insider. I'll give you guys, what is this? This is NBC Philadelphia. So not too partisan here. Pennsylvania State Representative Anthony DeLuca elected despite being dead. Why was he on the ballot? If a candidate dies, Pennsylvania State only allows replacement candidates to be submitted if ballots have not yet started printing. So there you go. The wisdom in Philadelphia not only elects John Fetterman to the Senate, someone who wants all criminals on the streets to be released, and you know, crime isn't that big of a deal. While Philadelphia is one of the most violent cities in America and continues its decline. It's so sad that Philadelphia has such a rich historical significance, I should say, to us in our country and freedom, and now it has become a wasteland, much like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, you name a big city in America, and but especially somewhere like Philadelphia. So Philly, I know your football team is 8-0, but my goodness, maybe you're 9-0. I've lost track. But great job. Way to elect John Fetterman, who wants to. I guarantee you. I promise you this: crime's not going to go down when Fetterman goes into office. There, that will not happen. But I'm the hateful one. I am the person who is picking on someone who just had a stroke and blah 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 blah. You elected a dead guy, also. To what was that? Congress? Must have been Congress. Well done, Philly. Philly. Outstanding stuff. It's amazing to me that people just vote for policies that continue to hurt them. It's just baffling to me. And what's really funny is when people can't like connect the dots. Like I was talking to someone, where was it, at work, or was it? Someone's like, yeah, it's cost so much at the grocery store. I just can't believe it. I'm like, okay, you're almost there. why come on, let's play Monopoly or whatever. We need a board game that's called economy. And like, I am no economist, that's for sure. But like, let's do the math here. Why do you think things are expensive? Could it be because we shut down our economy for a long time? And this is something I'm not going to let someone like former President Trump out of here. I mean, he shut the country down for a couple of weeks. He kind of and put all this extra money into unemployment and everything. I benefited from that, but I'm also not a fan. I mean, I thought that kind of gave Democrats carte blanche in cities and states around the country. One thing that was great about what Trump did, he said, "Hey, you guys handle your own states. I'm not going to get involved. This is how the country's supposed to be run." And then we ended up with someone like Biden, who literally wanted to fire people for not taking a shot that didn't work. He do not forget this. He tried to fire many people in this country for not taking a shot. The what was it? The pandemic of the unvaccinated. Maybe you forget these things. I don't forget these things. The cost in gas prices and groceries. Well, we care about poor people. No, you don't. You don't care at all. Your policies. Let's cut a pipeline. People don't connect the dots on why things are how they are. It drives me crazy. Jeff Fisher is the head coach of the Rams, and they're 3-13. Well, this guy can coach. He just hang in there. That's the previous coach. That was his fault. What? Why can't we connect the dots? It's like we've lost touch with common sense. And I know we have, because I live in California and I hear what is said out in public, or just the beliefs people have that, this is still Trump's fault. Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Not Gavin Newsom, not the person who runs this state. I mean, I thought going into the election, the biggest issues were crime, the economy, and what was probably the third biggest? It's probably right in front of me right now. Just cost of living, which is kind of economy related. And I know that things go up, prices go up. Bacon doesn't cost 3 cents anymore. I remember reading that in a Huck Finn book, being like, "What? Here's $3. Like, here, take it. I'm gonna get all your bacon." But the rate at which they have increased, loan rates. I mean, are you kidding me? Go shopping. For you people who are listening in another part of the country, why don't you start looking online at some houses in California and pick some bad areas. Go ahead, take a look at the prices, and you tell me that you're not thankful to be living in another state. Anyway, people vote for who they vote for. It is what it is. I don't care what the guy's letter is next to his name. I want, honestly, what's best for me, selfishly, and the majority of the country. But I've learned that the past. Why should I worry so much about what's best for the country when most of the country, or at least half of it, doesn't really care that things are better for them? It's an interesting thought. I still believe in the United States of America and all it's once stood for, but it seems that we are in major decline. We're worried about teaching certain things in the classroom that really have no business in a school curriculum, that things that should be taught by parents and things like that. But what do I know? I'm just a free podcaster here in the middle of the day talking on my off day. It's been a nice off day, actually. Gonna make some soup later. Watch it. How about a bad football game tonight? The Falcons and the Panthers. Look at Thursday Night Football. It's already hard enough to get behind a game so early in the week. Monday Night Football is kind of at the very end of but man alive, you cannot have these duds on Thursday Night Football. I understand everyone, equity, everyone gets a Thursday night game. But the Panthers and the Falcons. So I went to my handy dandy device. Maybe there's a good college game on. I flipped on my app and I looked, and there's like two, I don't even know, Texas, San Antonio, and Memphis or something on there. I'm like, I can't get a break on my off day. Selfish scheduling there, sports world. I won't stand for it. What else? Fired up today. Yeah. Let me see. What else? California props. Most, I think everything I voted for either passed or didn't. I didn't vote for, whatever it is. I don't understand, honestly, in California, especially, where You make a lot of things illegal, and we make a lot of things that are bad for us legal for the most part. I don't understand why sports gambling did not pass in California. I think it was pushed out as this like, well, this will be bad for kids. Is this happening? This will be bad for kids. Kids don't need gambling on their phones. And it's like, there's a lot of things on phones that kids shouldn't be looking at or dealing with. Is there any parenting anymore? Like, you're telling me you give your kid a phone and let him go about his life and look at it and do whatever he wants on that thing? My goodness, we need a little bit more of parent involvement. No, I am no parent, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion on this stuff. But my word, guys, that's your big concern? Is it some kid? First of all, if he's a kid and he becomes addicted to online gambling, it's actually a lesson, because how much money does a kid really have? Let's say he's got $100 and he spends it all in gambling when he's 17 years old on online gambling. Do you think that's going to encourage him to do more gambling? I'm not saying the youth should be gambling, right? I'm a firm believer in Carey Fleet principles. Lie, steal, cheat, or gamble. I get it. Thou shalt not, I should say. But that's something on the, I just can't, it doesn't seem consistent with California. But anytime there's a fear or something in California, all they got to, we saw this across the country for the past couple of years with the whole kids in school thing. You just got to say that it's unsafe for kids, and then people gasp. It's unsafe for kids. I don't understand that one. I really don't. I'm not saying I want to gamble. I'm not saying that. Plus me. Trust me, I don't have much money, so I'm not looking to give it to some random sports betting company or some Indian tribe or whatever. I'm not looking to do that. But the whole online sports betting, I didn't see why that didn't pass in California. And it got rocked. It got destroyed. But again, that was the real threat. This is the logic. Well, kids will become addicted to gambling. Kids don't have money. How are you going to become addicted to gambling when you don't have any money? How about that logic, California? Well, whatever. It was other. I'm not going to get into the other props. What else was in there? Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But no, I think there's been some. It wasn't a red wave or anything like that in throughout America. I saw tell you this: the Ron DeSantis, the dude swept through Florida, right, with everything, all of his policies. People love freedom there. There's still people that voted against all that, which is hilarious. I think we're moving towards a place really in the future where red people are going to move to red and blue people are going to move to blue. And it's just the blue will get stronger blue and the red will get stronger red. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen here down the line, because so many different people have tried it the other way. They've tried to stick it out and like turn things around, and it just isn't. And I'm not for segregation. I'm not like Harvard, who wants to have separate dorm rooms and separate graduations and those things. I am not for segregation. I am for unity and bringing us together and the difference of opinions and all those things and living amongst each other. But when one side of the aisle just takes great joy in the power hungry, taking money from people that earn it most and destroying our society with crime and policies that hurt us or raise the price of everything. I don't know, man. How much can you really have a conversation? I don't know anymore. It's very frustrating, and all I can do is come on here and vent away, and I don't really even sound like I know what I'm talking about. Just throw things out there, and hopefully you guys adjust. All right, let me shift away from the whole politics for a minute. I told, man, in my car, I deal with people. There's this seatbelt. So what is so hard about this? This happens all the time in my car as an Uber driver. So I'm just like, how does this keep happening? Most people sit on the passenger side rear seat, right? If you're looking as a driver right now, it's over your right shoulder, and most people sit in that seat. So naturally, that seatbelt gets used a lot. It ends up getting pushed down lower into the crevice. And I cannot tell you, so say I drive 10 people in a day, 7, 8 people struggle with the seatbelt. And it's not because I have some broken seatbelt or anything. It got pushed down. So people will take the seatbelt. This is like a simile for life. Is it a simile, analogy, whatever it is? And they push in the seatbelt. They push it into the clip, but it won't click because when they push the belt portion down, the buckle part sinks lower into the seat because there's nothing because it's been pushed down so far. There's nothing holding it up, propped up. So sometimes I'll go back there and I'll push the middle seat buckle down so that can stick out more. But people just push and push and push, and all day I have to deal with this. I turn around and say, hey, the last passenger just pushed out a little too far down. You just have to reach down with your left hand, pull it out, take your buckle, your clip in your right hand, and then push it. Stop pushing something down that clearly doesn't want to come. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm painting the picture right for you guys, but this is all kinds of people, old people, young people, middle people. And I just look in my rearview mirror. I'm going, this is not an IQ test. Like this, wouldn't you naturally, if you're pushing something and man, this is pushing this button and why isn't it going in? Wouldn't you naturally adjust instead of keep doing the same thing over and over and over? Why is this not working? And yes, I'm fitting this in as a voting and political leanings analogy as well. The seatbelt, it needs to change. You need to change, not the seatbelt, not the seatbelt. And there are people that get in and they're able to put the seatbelt in just fine. They're like, oh, it's go down. Let me pull it out, click, and it's good. Some people can figure it out. Other people cannot. And I would say it's the majority that get in my car. Well, Matt, sounds like you need to fix your seatbelt back there. No, it's because of the sheer volume of people that get in that seat, sit in that seat, and are operating with that seatbelt. I sound like my father right now. But I swear, and I'm guilty of this. If one little thing gets changed or is different, well, that's not the way I'm used to doing things. Well, then we need to adjust. I wasn't just doing a podcast, but I started doing it and it got fun and better. And we don't fight through adversity anymore. We used to overachieve. We used to build skyscrapers with, a screwdriver and a chisel or whatever. Like we used to just, now it's like, oh, the other day, it's raining. What are we going to do? I don't know how to. I posted this on Facebook, man. We have California, we have a pandemic of rain-phobic drivers. And I won't stand for it. I have total fear of rain. People that just stop in the middle of the road. Or it's like, it's water, guys. It's water. Keep going. I guarantee your stuff will work. I'm not saying go 100 on the freeway. But just keep the seatbelt right, guys. What is so difficult? I'm going to keep pushing. Sure, at some point, gas prices will lower. If I keep pushing the seatbelt in like this, it'll work. I swear. And you know what will be safer? Saw another friend posted something that said they're out of diesel up in another state. And I was just like, oh, they didn't, they couldn't fill up their diesel for their home heating or something. I said, oh, there's no windmills or solar panels that you can use there in the overcast non-windy day in Oregon and Hapland. It was. There's so many things that sound good in theory. Oh, that sounds way better. But then we throw common sense out the window. It's just gone. We don't adjust. We're so used to pushing a button on a phone and things working. And I'm guilty of this. When something doesn't work, like this computer or whatever, I get angry. I'm like, you're supposed to work. Why aren't you working? But I have to calm down, take a breath, power through it, and find a way that to not let it happen again, and to usually it's my own fault. And oh, I didn't click this. That's why it wasn't working. So I'm just frustrated with life at times. Did I tell you guys my favorite time of year? This is me in a good mood. Christmas is coming. I don't have any money to give gifts to anyone, but I'll figure it out. I love giving gifts to friends and family, and just like, hey, I thought of you. I wanted to get you something, because that's what Christmas is about. How we treat other people, not about our own personal gain, gifts we can get. It's about taking time to reflect on your year and recognize people that are important in your life. And, the whole birth of our Lord and Savior, that whole thing. So I'm a guy that it's always taking me a long time to figure things out. I remember in science class, people talking up there, and then the teacher and such, and students would write things down. I'm like, I have no idea what she just said. Why is you? What are you guys writing down? Wait, what did she say? I don't understand it. I don't get it. That was a lot of that at school, which is amazing. I have this degree from this powerful institution, Cal State Fullerton. By the way, for those not watching on YouTube, Cal State Fullerton football, undefeated since 1992. That's right, baby. When my football teams struggle, I bring out the big guns. Undefeated since 92. When they California, in their infinite wisdom, got rid of a lot of football programs for Title IX, so that things could be equity, amongst women's sports and such. Speaking of my alma maters playing football, Citrus College, man, 9-0. How about that? Coach Brandon Hayashi over there, who's been on the podcast before. Got to bring him back on, maybe talk about one of the most successful seasons in Citrus College history. Go Owls! Hoot hoot! I got to get out to a game and see them. I got a degree from Citrus College. That's right. That's right. It may not be USC or UCLA or Notre Dame, but hey, Citrus College, undefeated. Gonna get in the college football playoff, baby. A couple of real hundo guys on that team too. Oh, where was I? I already talked about money. Playoff catchers. The World Series ended. That was whatever. Oh man, I made bacon for because my friend was in town last week. You know what? You know why when you cook bacon, friends, you have to make 2 pounds of it? Do you know why? Because you eat 1 pound of it while you're making the bacon. So you have to cook 2 or 3 pounds because bacon tastes great on a plate. Bacon tastes great on a cheeseburger. Bacon tastes great on a club sandwich. But you know when bacon tastes the absolute best? Is sitting there fresh out of the pan as you're cooking other bacon. Surely phenomenal. And I know we're in a recession. We should be rationing these things. But my goodness, if you're going to cook 1 pound of bacon, you better be by yourself on an off day, right? On a cold day with a hot cup of coffee and the whole day in front of you, because that whole pound's going to get eaten. That's one of my rules. I never make bacon by myself because that pound will get eaten. I need another person in the house, preferably a guest. And a general rule of thumb when you buy meat for friends, you're having a gathering, barbecue, or whatever, a pound a man is pretty safe. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. A pound a human is safe. No, a pound a man, because the ladies may not eat a pound of meat themselves. It might be, 3/4. I'm not going to go into the math. But when you're estimating, it's like pizza math. I would love that when we were around. Oh, we got 6 people here. Yeah, well, let's get 2 pizzas, or how about a large and a small? It's like 2 pizzas. You get simple pizza math here. Or if you get a jumbo extra large or something that feeds an army, hey, that's a different story. But in general, when you're buying pizzas, large, medium, whatever you want to call it, a pizza for every 2 men. Okay? I know you didn't expect all this food knowledge and equations and calculations here on the podcast today, but I came back strong. The election happened. I got my football team's going to miss the playoffs. I got to go through the holiday season, hearing it from all these other fan bases that ha. It's going to be a disappointment. It's going to be a dark Christmas, friends. It's going to be. That said, we're going to put the decorations up early. We're going to put a smile on our face. We're going to get up early. We're going to go to work. We're going to handle business because that's what red-blooded Americans do. They don't sit there and have a mental. I need a mental wellness day. I'm so overwhelmed. What was I talking about? Sometimes by yourself. Oh, bacon. Yes. Oh. Bacon, man. You ever buy that fake bacon, where it's like veggie bacon or turkey bacon? I don't know. I'm speaking blasphemy here, but I've lived 37 years. Sometimes you make mistakes. And I remember trying it for the first, being like, nope, not doing this. Can't do it. Won't do it. I'm not talking about low fat milk versus whole milk. Some things you just can't shave some points off of. You just can't do it. And one is bacon. You want to go thick cut, thin cut, whatever. Hey, that's up to you. To each his own. But you got to have that extra pound of bacon when you're making a pound of bacon. That's all I'm saying. If it's you by yourself, have at it. Enjoy that 1 pound solo, as God intended. Okay, what else can I talk about today? You know what's safe? You know what is less safe? Something that is less safe that you would think is actually safer. Talking about safety here on the Get Home Safe podcast, of course. That is voice texting. Now, you go to voice text, You push a button. You shouldn't be texting when you're driving. You shouldn't be doing it. Or when you're in a car seat, you shouldn't be doing these things. We all know this. But do we do it? Yeah, we do. If I'm not the only honest person here in America, we do it. We shouldn't do it, but we're doing it, right? So sometimes you ever send a voice text because you're at, I don't know, red light or something, you don't want to type, you push a button, hey, blah, 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 blah. And then it comes out something completely different, or it adds periods and numbers and words, and you know what, look like an idiot. So what do? You grab it and you're trying to correct it. So now we're wasting more time when if you just would have let us text in the first place, not while driving, but I'm saying maybe while stopped at a red light, it would have been more efficient. You wouldn't have to go back, correct it. Maybe your voice isn't sore. Now you're distracted. And then that's how accidents happen. At least those are my thoughts. Voice texting should be a safer practice, but it's not. Much like the gun-free zones, in my opinion. Very similar thing. What else? Speaking of rain the other day, football in the rain, it's the greatest thing ever. It just is. And I know games end up like 9-6, like that 2009 Real Hondo Championship game right around the corner here at Covina District Field. Bummer, I know. But football in the rain is still awesome. It's something that's so unique to football. Baseball, I've been in a lot of those rain games where you try to get as much in as you can. You got to pull the tarp. Basketball, hockey, you're indoors. Other sports, what is it? No, boxing sometimes they're outside. But soccer, I guess those guys play in the rain. I'll give them that if they truly do that. I would watch a soccer game that was like a total downpour, where it's like puddles up to the shin guards. That would be cool. And they allowed like offside and like maybe some shoulder tackles to exist, and took away embellishment stuff. It'll take a lot for me to. Why am I getting updates what the USA soccer roster is? What is going on? When did I sign up for this? I didn't sign up for these push notifications. I want no soccer updates on my phone. None. That's after this podcast. I'm gonna dive into that. It's only, what is it, 2:30? I got time today. No soccer updates. I don't want. It's like when you register in California, everyone will say, "Oh, you're a Democrat." No, you're not. You get a choice. I don't care that the World Cup is coming this month. I gotta watch all those commercials and deal with all that. Oh, this is the same thing. This is as important as the NFL. It's going to be a great couple of days Thanksgiving weekend because we got football this, football that, soccer. No, get them out of my separate but unequal viewing thing. I don't want to know about the soccer roster. I don't care. I didn't click on the article because I have standards. And you soccer fans out there, both of you, stop promoting this stuff. I'm telling you, I think I really do believe this. This country started to go a lot more south as the soccer interest rose. As soccer interest rose, I think that's when we as a country began the decline. I really do. And you could say as other thing, drugs and, chaos in the streets. You could say, but I'm just saying, if we got to look for something that may have been the cause, I think it's soccer stock. Soccer stock rising has plummeted America. I really do believe that. You think I'm joking, but no, this is real stuff. Okay. I'm going to get a little political, but was I doing anything else? Oh, high school football or not just high school football in the rain. I remember watching the Rams play in the rain at Anaheim Stadium. I remember with my dad going to back-to-back high school football games on Friday and Saturday night in the probably the late 90s. Pouring rain both nights. I think we got pneumonia after that. But I saw Bishop Amat and Mater Day at Citrus College. These were like semifinal games in pouring rain. The next night, we went and watched Northview High, my dad's alma mater, at his down in like Laguna Beach or something. I think it was at Mission Viejo High School, because every time I drive by that stadium, I remember that. But pouring rain, got our thermoses of hot chocolate and coffee and popcorn, and it was pouring rain and the wind, and we watched a football game, and those are fond memories I have. And is the rain tough to be around? Yeah. It makes FedEx driving and delivering a little more tough, but hey, I always think of, the gridiron. I remember in third grade, guys, got to play a football game for Care Youth League in the rain. And it was the greatest, most fun day. I just looked over the sideline. I remember my dad standing there, didn't have a jacket, it's pouring rain all over him, dripping down his glasses. And he's just staring out at us as he's like, yeah, football in the rain. This is how I trained you, son. And then of course, high school played a football game in the rain at Citrus College. That was so much, just slipping and sliding, splashing everywhere. It's a great equalizer, right? Well, they can't throw it. Well, you can't throw it either. You know what? Rain is an equalizer. We don't get snow out here, but I'm sure that's a lot of fun too. All right, what else I want to get to? So I want to give you guys some advice, not advice really, more suggestions. I've talked to you guys about podcasts before, and maybe I told you this last week, and I want you to just get through it. But some of us don't have time all day to listen to podcasts, right? I'm in the car a lot, so I'm able to do that. But even I'm not able to listen to all the ones I want to because they're long. And I try to keep this one here under an hour if possible. But there are a few podcasts I've discovered that are shorter in length. They're not as all every day, every weekday. They're once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, that I wanted to share with you guys, that I get a lot of wisdom from, that I get updated information on. It's quick, it's to the point, and it's usually with some viewpoints that I really, really like. So I've told you guys about some of the bigger podcasts I've listened to, and the bigger radio shows, Adam Carolla and Dennis Prager and this and that. But I want to tell you a few that are really quick. And I'm talking like 15, 20 minutes quick every day. Not every day, but once a week or a couple days a week. So some short podcasts that I would recommend. That's the better word. Recommend. Recommendations. Kirk Cameron has a fireside. It's called the American Campfire Revival. I think it's 3 days a week, and it's basically a short sermon, if you will, a short Bible message, really. That Kirk, who's very passionate about America and the Bible and Christianity, it's really been beneficial to me to hear from him a few times a week. And he basically he's in his campfire out in his backyard, and he's preaching the gospel, and it's really quick, good messages. I'm telling you, 15 minutes that are really, really beneficial, that I've really enjoyed listening to. So check those out on any podcast platform. Kirk Cameron and the American Campfire Revival. Hodge Twins I've talked about. They're very comedic. They're not for the faint of heart, for sure. They got some language and things they say in there that I'm sure aren't for everybody, but they're pretty cool. They're 10-minute podcasts, and sometimes they'll be every day, but like they're just any big events that pop up in the world of news or politics, they usually comment on, and they're pretty funny. I'll give them that. Tommy Lauren, she's joined Outkick the Coverage, and she has a podcast that's 3 days a week. And again, it's usually like 30 minutes, but she usually hits news, politics, and some sports topics with her slant on them. So those are pretty good. That's just Tommy Lauren. They're on Outkick, as well as Outkick the Show. Clay Travis, he has a 20-30 minute show daily that is called Outkick the Show, where he just goes through a bunch of different items. And if you don't have a lot of time, a great sports podcast to listen to, because he comes at it, he attacks the woke stuff, and I think he does a really, really good job of bouncing around very different subjects and ideas, and kind of just talking with a clear head and really kind of putting things in perspective. Additionally, Buck Sexton, he has a 20-minute podcast he does daily, where he pretty much news and politics. If you want kind of the to skip the long-winded stuff, I mean, it's just a quick hitter. That's a great podcast to listen to. Focus on the Family, I mentioned this a few weeks back. It's really been good for me. If that's a daily podcast, usually about 30 minutes, and just a way for me to kind of get a little bit more into the good book, if you will, and hear the good word and such. Liz Wheeler, Ali Stuckey, and Candace Owens. These are 3 ladies that have a daily podcast. They're very brief, but they're to the point. And I think for the ladies out there, especially, all 3 of them, yeah, you guys would enjoy listening to those, because they got some great viewpoints. A lot of it is from a spirituality, religious aspect as well. So you get a good feel there, I think, if you're listening to the podcast and you're looking for some female opinions out there, which is always nice to hear. And finally, a guy that is not for the faint of heart, a guy that is out there. He's comedic, he's funny. I think he's a nightmare to the left, is Alex Stein. Prime time Alex Stein. He has a new podcast coming up on the Blaze here in a few weeks. I haven't listened, obviously, because it doesn't exist yet, but Alex Stein, he has Instagram and Twitter posts. He just goes at the left and everything that's going on right now. And you don't have to agree with everything he does, but I think his the way in which he goes about it is very, very different. And yeah, it's really, really entertaining. So you got to check that out now. I'm curious if Nancy Pelosi is now a believer in crime up in the Bay Area after her break-in and the assault on her husband. I mean, it's a tragedy, really, but someone who's done nothing about the crime in San Francisco. I found that rather interesting, not entertaining, because I don't laugh by any means in other people's demise. But maybe Nancy will start to take. I should say the former Speaker of the House is looking like Nancy Pelosi. Maybe she will start to try to do something about the area of the country that she's supposed to be representing and clean up things over there. What else? New York Supreme Court reinstates all employees fired for being unvaccinated. Orders back pay. Well done, well done. And if you need again motivation or just maybe you guys forgot about this stuff. Remember when Biden signed? Who was it? The Secretary of Labor. I think he wanted to have a mandate that workers of 100 or more who must be vaccinated. And New York ended up firing people. And remember who these people were? These were nurses. These are firefighters. These are police officers. These are just your everyday average citizens who just wanted to go to work and not have the government tell them what to do. And they were fired. They stood firm, and I applaud them, and I'm glad to see that the back pay is coming. But never forget how many lives, I should say, were ruined by a lot of the policies we've been seeing the past couple of years. And some of us will just turn a blind eye. I mean, in California, crime is up. You can rob a CVS for $900, $999, and you won't be prosecuted or something like that. And then, so what happens to us civilians who don't rob and steal things? Well, everything's got to be locked up. We're not allowed to go shop like humans. We have to be treated like animals, because there's criminals and savages out there who want to, just destroy things and ruin our lives, excuse me. So anyway, I will move on. My Rams, finally, not looking good. They're still the Super Bowl champs. You can't take that away from me. The banner hangs forever, and I got to experience my LA Rams winning a world championship in the city of LA, which you can't undo. And so I'm thankful for that. But it's tough, man. When your team wins, this is the beauty of sports. When your team wins something, you're supposed to be happy, right? Enjoying it. And I was, and I still am. But man, 11 months ago, the Rams won the Super Bowl, and I'm like miserable. This is crazy, right? That's just how sports are. When you win, you want to win another one. And it's just it's interesting. This is the beauty of sports. We're living vicariously through people we don't know who are being paid lots of money, unless it's college, and then it's a lots of money there too. We root for it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why we root for the things we root for sometimes. And I'll leave it at that. I won't get into fan bases and things, but when your team's rolling, life is great. Food tastes better, all that stuff. But when your team's awful, you don't want to hear about it. And unfortunately, you hear about it from all the trolls out there who have never had much to complain, to root for, especially when their team has not won a Super Bowl in the 21st century. Or even been close, really. But I won't get into that. Rams have been to 4 Super Bowls in the 21st century, won 2 of them, and I'll leave it at that. Non-LA Rams fans, I'll leave it at that. So enjoy the Rams' misery, the silence of the Rams, if you will. It is what it is. They'll be back, and you know what? I'm still okay knowing that they finally did it. They did something I never thought I'd see, and I got to see it before I turned 40, no less. So we'll see if they can turn it around. I don't want to look to next year already, but football's a beautiful game, man. It's a great game, and it's a lot of fun when your team's winning, but you can still enjoy it when your team's not winning. And but back to politics, when you root for your team, all right, your team doesn't win, you can at least root for the demise of other teams, right? The teams that you hate. And I think that's what a lot of us found ourselves doing on election night. Hey, my guy didn't win here, but over there in the other conference, other division, I really hate this one. And anyway, this is supposed to be about unity, right? Oh, well, unity's out the window. It's just the states of America right now. But we'll get back to united at some point in some magical way. Last thing I will say, I think the 1972 Dolphins going undefeated, 17-0, is the greatest record in team sports, the greatest team record, I should say. Perfection. Name another record that is about being perfect. You could say scoreless innings with Earl Hershiser, right? You could say Cal Ripken Jr. being perfect, showing up every day, getting in the lineup every day for however many thousands of games that was. But I'm talking from a team standpoint. And anyone who's coached, anyone who's rooted for a team, you know how difficult it is for teams, groups of people to succeed, right? It's what makes the best leaders in our country generally the most successful, because they can get groups of people to do things very, very well. And I think from a team standpoint, because the Philadelphia Eagles are still undefeated. Right. So I heard all these Miami Dolphin topics going off. 1972 Dolphins, 17-0. I think it truly is still the greatest team record out there. The Patriots were close, right? A few years ago, and they lost. They were 18-1. And maybe they won more games than those Dolphins, but they were perfect. We've seen it in college football. A team be perfect. I think one of the other great team records in sports is the 1972 Lakers that won 33 straight games. Started November 5th, and their last win was in January 7th. I believe my numbers are right there. The closest we've seen to that is the Warriors twice with 28 and 24 straight games, and the 2012-2013 Miami Heat with 27 straight. So those are some team records, I think, that are unmatched. The Lakers 33 straight, even the 83-9 Warriors didn't get 33 straight. So to do that is pretty amazing. And I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know some other sports records. I think this would be a fun conversation to have, not just individual records, although I respect all those, but I think team records are really, really amazing, and something, because it's not just winning something, but the manner in which you win something, or, able to, like, it's quite the Buffalo Bills didn't win, but they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. That's a pretty great team achievement. I don't think, has there been another team go to 4 straight Super Bowls? That's really crazy. No NFL team has won 3 straight Super Bowls, I believe. No, Patriots have won 3 out of 4. There's been repeats, never a three-peat. So that's something. And I haven't gone back to look at the NFL World Championship numbers, because I do include that as part of the championship history of the NFL. I don't just diminish those like some fans do. So my Rams, for instance, three-time world champs. Hey, I'm not taking away victories, unlike some people do. So anyway, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you for tuning in on the Get Home Safe podcast. I'll be back next week, and pretty soon I will try to have some guests on here. Maybe once a month is kind of the plan. I couldn't do it during the Charge to Keep pod. It was just too much going on, and I was talking to lots of people throughout the week, multiple interviews. So I was just like, you know what? Let me try to keep the Get Home Safe going weekly, and it probably should have been shorter shows, as this one should have been, but we got through it. We're all done, and it's time to go cook up some soup here. Going to start chopping things, get the fire going, and enjoy this off day here on Thursday, November 10th. Happy belated birthday to my mother. November 9th was her, 1954 would have been her 68th birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. Thinking of you always, and especially this time of year, which was one of her favorite times of year. Indeed. Every holiday she did something big, but especially Christmas, especially as the weather got colder, right? She liked having some soups and just different foods at home as everyone walked through the door out of the cold and into a hot kitchen usually. So definitely miss my mom, and miss memories like that. But that's what memories are for. We got to create these memories so that we have them and carry them with us all over, carry them in our hearts. And whether it's a home cooked meal, or a football game in the rain, or where you were on a certain date in American history, it's fun to have those memories. And it's things that like that keep us going. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Christmas is almost here. Start shopping for Thanksgiving. Bills, I know, are high, but hey, that's what we voted for. We vote for high bills. We deserve high bills. Anyway, guys, enough from me. Thanks for tuning in on the Get Home Safe podcast. And guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.